I was wrong about watercolor pencils, dead wrong. I avoided them for years because actual watercolor painting is basically everything I hate. It's backwards, unpredictable, and I have zero control. But now, I figured out how to use watercolor pencils in a way that has nothing to do with the watercolor painting approach. Your blending still works, your shading habits apply, the results just get a whole lot better and faster. Today we're going to color a realistic portrait. I'm using this Castle Arts portrait set, and you can use any brand that you like. And when I say you coloring with me, I mean it. I drew this portrait of Zendaya just for you. Go grab it, print it out, and try this out with me. I really hope that after this video, you fall in love with watercolor pencils the way that I just did. For the purposes of our experiment today, there are two kinds of pencils, watercolor and dry. Both behave identically when you simply shade with them, and you can certainly use them that way. But when you add water to these, beautiful painterly things happen. And when you add water to these, nothing happens. Well, nothing good anyway. Question is, how much water versus pigment is needed and how to apply it? Now, we will be using some water, so make sure that you have paper that can handle that. I recommend either Strathmore or cardstock paper, 65 to 80 pounds, not actual watercolor paper. That will be too textured for the level of detail that we're going for, and you'll have a hell of a time trying to print on it. The first step is to create an underpainting layer. Pick a nice chocolatey mid-tone brown color. Mine is called cinnamon. And start shading in your subject's skin and hair. I'm working from this photo of Zendaya, so I have a nice clear color reference. In this step, we want to shade her as if she's a statue, without any regard for individual elements. Look how I shade in the eyes and the lips and the hair all in the same manner. And shade the way that you usually do. No special technique is necessary. Make sure to apply very little pressure though. I know it may look a little ugly now, but trust me, we'll get a super smooth effect here without any burnishing. And notice how much shading I'm doing. This step is exactly the same as it would be with dry pencils. Here's where things change though. Grab a small paintbrush, something simple and cheap, dip it in some water very quickly, nothing crazy, and start blending, for the lack of a better word. Airbrushing, maybe. Look how the color immediately comes to life. So much more pigment, so much vibrance, and the texture of the paper is already starting to disappear. But this still seems super patchy, and at this point you may be worried that she will end up looking like a burn victim. Worry not, just push through the ugly stage. The paper will bulge at this. I freaked out at first. Don't be like me. Just give it a minute, literally 1 minute, and it will get taut and dry again. Once it's dry, come in with a yellow. I'm popping up the exact names of my pencils on the screen for you in case you are using the same set. And for the rest of you, I dropped the link in the video description, my exact paper as well. Notice that on the second color layer, I actually go back and forth between brown and yellow, adding more definition with brown and achieving more blending with yellow. The watery layer that's now dry did something really cool. It filled in the paper texture perfectly. Now we have a nice smooth surface to shade on. We just saved so much time on blending and, for some of you, burnishing. Now we can just layer and blend in peace. Question is, for how long? When will it be a good time to bring water back in again? And how much? Stick around and you may be surprised. A touch of peach for the blush, and now it's time to test out that white. White in any color pencil set can serve as a wonderful blender. This one, it's not bad. It's actually not bad at all. It's not adding a lot of white pigment, but it is smoothing things out quite a bit. While the water layer filled the paper tooth, creating a physically smooth layer, it did not distribute the color evenly. It's patchy, right? It's visually uneven. So it's in these layers of dry blending that we smooth out the color application. Again, no pressure is needed. You guys know I shade gently, naturally. I'm using even less pressure than that right now. And here comes the high definition part. Find a deep, dark brown in your set and start coming in with the shadows. And look at that smooth shading. I am genuinely impressed. I swear this is so much less effort for me right now than my traditional way. And it's super pleasant. All this smoother application, faster application, simply from having added just a tiny bit of water in the first layer. I honestly didn't expect all this. I thought for sure on this color I would need to bring in water again, but no, not at all. I can do all of my regular blending with white and not lose any of the color intensity. This feels like airbrushing. And this won't always be a dark brown color at this stage either. Every skin tone and every lighting scenario is different. Sometimes it may even be lilac or deep purple. If you want to learn how to build your own skin tone charts and practice on 5 distinct complexions, each with their own color map, join my Skin Tone Mastery course. Courses in its Easy to Draw Academy have no end dates, so all of the content is yours to go through at your own pace and as many times as you like. Links to everything in the description. My face blending is going well so far and seems to need no more water. But on the hair, we did not add more blending layers, so now we have options. We can add more dry colors, or we can just add more water right now over the dark brown shading. And this was definitely a great decision because look at how naturally the hair suddenly flows. Again, like another hour of shading saved. Remember to let this dry before adding more pigment. Every time we add water, make sure it dries completely before proceeding. Fortunately, we don't have to wait long, and we don't actually have to wait at all. Since we're working on an involved image, we can simply switch to a different part of the composition while this part of the paper dries. And now we can start sculpting the really high definition detail, the eyes and everything. For this, we will need our deepest, darkest shades imaginable. So I'm bringing in black and I'm blending it with magenta. Can I blend this black with more water? I certainly can. Some of you will be more comfortable blending with water at this stage, and some of you will prefer to let the color pencils do their work the traditional way. That's the route that I chose to go. I prefer to use the minimum amount of water to give myself the biggest boost for that undercolor, and then again enjoy that sweet, sweet control that I have with traditional colored pencils. Hence, the magenta blender. One other place that I brought in a tiny bit of water is on the lips. I wanted them to look a little bit more painterly and diffused and not too harshly outlined or shaded. So bringing in water here made perfect sense to me. Now for the background, I plan to use water quite a bit. I often find ways to speed through backgrounds because they're actually pretty boring and we want to spend more time working on our character. In the Skin Tone Mastery course, I cover background options in high detail. We talk about various options on how to speed that process up and also which colors to select to complement our characters in the best possible way. One of the options for backgrounds is brush markers. Another is watercolor itself. But here we're going to use a fast shading with our pencils dry and then come in with a paintbrush to smooth everything out and create that painterly look. This background took just a couple of minutes. For all of you who dread filling in backgrounds entirely, this may be the way to go. Even if you're working with dry pencils for the rest of the composition, consider watercolor pencils for just the background. The original shading layer for this background doesn't have to be super smooth or detailed. It can be quite rough. The water will take care of the rest. Okay, so watercolor pencils. I was so wrong about them, and now I'm a convert. And I hope you will be as well. One tiny wash of water on that first layer, and suddenly you're gliding through everything on top. Your blending skills work, your shading instincts work, you just get there so much faster and easier. And everything is just somehow more vibrant. And you may have noticed that there's actually a lot more to this portrait. We still have the jewels, the silk dress, plus I have the full 2-hour recording of this piece. All of that is getting the full attention in the live stream. Now, depending on when you're watching this live stream is either coming up or has already happened. So either add it to your calendar or enjoy watching the rerun. And now you know how watercolor pencils work, check out this video on traditional dry pencil blending. Mix and match techniques, mix and match brands. Your personal preferences are what shapes you as an artist.